Welcome to 15 awesomely bad songs from the 1970s, one of the greatest eras of music. A time when truckers sang in code, ducks got disco deals, and Paul Anka. Yeah, just Paul Anka. So let's dive into the hits so strange, so cheesy, so magnificently offbeat that they became unforgettable. Hit it.
Sky rockets in flight, afternoon delight.
Number 1, I've Never Been to Me, Charlene, 1977 recording, hit in 1982. This song practically cries into a glass of Chardonnay. Charlene recorded it in 1977, but it took a Florida DJ in 1982 to dig it out and bless the world with this glorious emotional spiral.
To paradise, but I've never been to me.
It starts like a slow diary entry. Charlene whisper sings about sipping champagne on yachts, dancing in satin, and brushing shoulders with royalty. But then, oh yeah, it escalates. Enter the spoken word bridge. I've been undressed by kings, but I've never been to me. Yeah, I mean, woof. Cue the staring out the window montage. It is part romance novel, part midlife crisis, and part spiritual TED Talk set to piano. You can't even listen to this song, you just have to experience it.
Places and friendly faces because I had to be free.
The sincerity is so full throttle, it almost tips into parody. But that's the charm. It's overwrought, it's poetic, it is so 70s it should come with shag carpet and a tissue box on a glass coffee table. Critics, yeah, they couldn't stand it, but the listeners were obsessed. And whether you cried or cringed, you remembered it. And I think that's the magic of Charlene. Somehow she turned self-reflection into a soft rock soap opera. Is it good? Is it bad? Who cares? It's unforgettable.
But I've never been to me.
Number 2, Billy Don't Be a Hero, Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods, 1974. Nothing says, please don't go to war, like a peppy pop song with snare drums and tambourines. Billy Don't Be a Hero came out in 1974, a year when the US was finally pulling out of Vietnam, and Americans were looking for a break from all that heartbreak. Enter Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods, who gave us a song that tried to warn against battlefield glory, but somehow made it sound like a commercial for toy soldiers.
Billy, don't be a hero, don't be a fool with your life.
It's got the tempo of a parade and the story arc of a soap opera. Girl loves boy, boy goes to war, girl begs him not to die, he dies. And the whole thing is delivered with such cheery harmonies that the ending smacks you sideways. And I heard his name get mentioned in a crowd is the emotional climax, except it lands like a footnote almost. The message is anti-heroism, but the sound is AM gold, which makes it oddly catchy for a song about tragic loss. Despite critical mockery, it went all the way to number 1 and even got banned by the BBC during wartime. Because it's the musical equivalent of a tragic Valentine written in glitter pen.
Billy, don't be a hero, don't be a fool with your life.
Number 3, Feelings, Morris Albert, 1974. Feelings, nothing more than feelings. That's it, that's the whole emotional thesis. Brazilian singer Morris Albert crooned this soft rock fog in 1974, and for a while, people swayed along like it was poetry. Everything about it is fragile, the gauzy orchestration, the piano drifting in a cloud of sadness, Morris sounding like he just got dumped by someone he never officially dated. And the lyrics, so vague they could be about a breakup, a lost sock, or existential dread, no one knows. But still, it was a smash hit, Grammy nominated, covered by the greats, and somehow played at weddings and comedy shows. But then came the twist. The melody sounded a bit too familiar, you know? Because a French composer sued and won, so Morris Albert had to share credit for one of the most unintentionally parodied songs of the decade. The Muppet Show mocked it, The Gong Show gonged it. It became the official anthem of overly sensitive crooners everywhere. Is it heartfelt? Maybe. Is it deep? Not really. Is it bad? Gloriously. This isn't a breakup song, it's a musical puddle of vague regret, and it absolutely earns its spot on this list.
and feelings like I'll never have you.
Number 4, I Am Woman, Helen Reddy, 1972. Before the Spice Girls shouted girl power, Helen Reddy already sang it. Gently, firmly, and with the cadence of someone reading a bedtime story with meaning. I Am Woman hit in 1972 and quickly became the anthem of the women's liberation movement. A song that dared to say, I am strong, I am invincible, I am woman.
I am invincible, I am woman.
Helen Reddy co-wrote the song because, in her own words, there just weren't any empowering tracks for women at the time. And hey, I think that's awesome, and the public also thought it was awesome. She became the first Australian to top the US charts, and she also won a Grammy, where she thanked God because she makes everything possible. But here's my twist. For all its importance, the song is kind of a snooze. It's slow, it's subtle, and it has the musical momentum of a gently waving protest sign. And I'm not alone. Some critics also thought it was too tame for a revolution, and it got the parody treatment pretty fast. From Saturday Night Live to barroom karaoke. The song is kind of a lot, but it did strike a chord, and it became a time capsule of early 70s change, when even soft songs carried bold messages. Number 5, Convoy, C.W. McCall, 1975. Breaker 19, this is Rubber Duck, come again. And if that line means anything to you, congratulations, you survived the great CB radio craze of the mid-70s. The song Convoy wasn't just a song, it was a rolling, rhyming trucker soap opera on vinyl, performed by C.W. McCall, a former ad man.
Breaker, big pen, this here's a duck. Now, you want to back off them hogs?
It told the story of a ragtag group of truckers with names like Pigpen, Sodbuster, and the legendary Rubber Duck, forming a massive cross-country protest convoy. There wasn't much melody, mostly spoken word rambling over a country rock beat, but somehow it slapped. Cool slang flew, air horns blared, and by the time McCall yelled, "We got ourselves a convoy," people were ready to buy a rig of their own and hit the open road. The song topped both the pop and country charts and sparked a full-blown national obsession. It even inspired the 1978 movie Convoy, starring Chris Christopherson as the brooding, law-breaking trucker hero. Of course, CB radios flew off the shelves. Kids begged their parents for walkie-talkies. Everyone suddenly knew their 10-4 from their What's Your 20.
1,000 screaming trucks, and 11 long-haired friends of Jesus in a chartreuse microbus.
Was it music? Sort of. Was it good? Questionable. Was it awesome in the most ridiculous, over-the-top, red, white, and blue way possible? Abso-frickin-lutely. A musical big rig with no brakes, and we're all still riding shotgun. Number 6, Seasons in the Sun, Terry Jacks, 1973. This song feels like a musical greeting card you'd send someone you're ghosting forever. Seasons in the Sun is technically a goodbye song, but it's sung so softly, so mournfully, and so slowly that it practically folds into a tissue and just floats away. Adapted from a French song by Jacques Brel, the English version removes all the nuance and layers of adult regret and replaces them with lines like, "We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun."
Wonder how I got along. Goodbye, Papa, it's hard to die.
Delivered in a voice that sounds like it's narrating a slideshow at your great-aunt's wake. Released in 1973, it became a massive hit. Of course, that's why it's on this list. Number 1 in over a dozen countries, proving once again that if you want a song to chart, make it really sad. Critics kinda hated it for being overly sentimental and sanitized, but for regular folks, it somehow hit this sweet spot between touching and cheesy. It became one of those tunes you couldn't really defend, but you still sang along to when it came on the radio.
We had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the stars we could reach.
And for all its mournful tone, it was weirdly catchy, like a lullaby you didn't want to admit you remembered and secretly loved. Number 7, Afternoon Delight, Starland Vocal Band, 1976. There's smooth, and then there's suspiciously smooth. Cause Afternoon Delight rolls in like a sweet little love song, soft harmonies, breezy guitars, and a melody gentle enough to soundtrack a Sears commercial. But then, hey, listen to the lyrics. Sky rockets in flight, afternoon delight. Oh, this song's not about lunch, is it?
Sky rockets in flight, afternoon delight.
Released in '76 by Starland Vocal Band, it's basically a musical Wink dressed in Sunday best. The harmonies are so pure they could pass for a church choir, which only makes the midday makeout theme even funnier. Makeout, right. It is soft rock's greatest bait and switch, wholesome on the outside but frisky underneath. And somehow, whether you knew it or not, America ate it up. The song hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, won the band a Grammy for Best New Artist, which, by the way, became a famously cursed category. And it just kinda stayed lodged in the brains of anyone near a radio that summer. And sure, it's a little cheesy. Okay, a lot cheesy, but it's also weirdly catchy, painfully sincere, and so 70s it should come with a lava lamp and a fondue set.
Afternoon delight.
Critics rolled their eyes, listeners turned it up. It's awkward, it's iconic, it's soft rock getting away with something very naughty by smiling sweetly and pretending it wasn't. Number 8, Escape, the Pina Colada song, Rupert Holmes, 1979. If you like pina coladas and improbable plot twists, this one is for you. Rupert Holmes' '79 hit Escape starts as a smooth, tropical soft rock groove and quickly reveals itself to be a full-blown romantic mystery.
Yes, I like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain.
Alright, picture this. A bored man reads the personals and secretly answers an ad, only to find out that the mystery woman he's planning to run off with is his current girlfriend. Oops. Cue the awkward laughter, implied reconciliation, and a song that became one of the most bizarre relationship anthems of the decade. Funny enough, Holmes originally didn't want to use pina coladas in the lyrics, thinking it sounded silly. Because, yeah, it did, but thankfully someone talked him out of it, because how silly it was also made it so catchy.
I've got to eat you by tomorrow noon and cut through all this red tape.
The song went to #1 at the very end of the decade, becoming the last chart topper of the 1970s and perfectly closing out an era that embraced both soft rock and questionable decisions. Escape is catchy, quirky, and just clever enough to pass as romantic instead of disturbing.
There was this letter I read. Oh, if you like pina colada.
Number 9, You're Having My Baby, Paul Anka with Odia Coates, 1974. Paul Anka didn't just write a love song with this one. He wrote a thank you card to his unborn child's mother, sealed in smaltz and confusion. You're Having My Baby came out in '74, featuring singer Odia Coates, and immediately split the room. Half the country slow danced to it. The other half cringed so hard they sprained something. The music is peak soft pop, swoony horns, tender piano, and Anka's voice practically in tears. But the lyrics, that's where things get weird. Lines like, you could have swept it from your life, but you didn't. Of course that earned backlash from women's rights groups, critics, and anyone who thought maybe childbirth shouldn't be framed like a personal favor.
You could have swept it from your life, but you wouldn't do it.
But still, somehow it hit #1 and stayed there for weeks. People either genuinely felt moved or couldn't look away from the train wreck. I mean, hey, it is sincere, but maybe too sincere. Romantic, but also kind of possessive. Sweet, but also, what were you thinking, Paul? He later said it was meant as a personal tribute to his wife, not a political statement. But once it hit the radio, there was no putting the baby back in the bottle, or in the corner. Get it, any Dirty Dancing fans here? Okay, I digress. This Anka hit was awkward, it was earnest, it was unforgettable, and it remains one of pop's most baffling musical thank yous. Number 10, Honey, Bobby Goldsboro, 1970. This one's been called the saddest song ever written, and not always as a compliment. Honey, originally released in 1968, but still making waves and airplay into the early 70s, is Bobby Goldsboro's weepy ode to a young wife who dies tragically. And what does he remember her for? Planting a tree, crying at sitcoms, breaking a vase, and laughing about it. It's as if Hallmark ghost wrote a eulogy and then put it to a softly strummed guitar and trembling vocals.
I surprised her with a puppy kept me up all Christmas Eve.
Listeners either bawled their eyes out or laughed until they cried, because the song's syrupy delivery and childlike lyrics push it into parody territory, I think. Honey, I miss you, and I'm being good, Goldsboro sings like a boy trying to earn a sticker chart in grief counseling. And yet, it was a smash hit. I can't deny that, it's facts. It topped the charts, it sold millions, and made Goldsboro a go-to guy for tearjerkers. In the 70s, it played constantly on adult contemporary stations, all wedding playlists, and wherever anyone needed a good cry.
Miss you, and I'm being good.
Number 11, The Streak, Ray Stevens, 1974. If the 1970s taught us anything, it's that sometimes people just wanted to take their clothes off and run. The Streak by Ray Stevens is a toe-tapping time capsule of one of the weirdest fads in history, public streaking. Yeah, it was a real shocking thing. Sporting events, malls, college campuses, suddenly everyone was sprinting around naked and proud, and Ray Stevens said, hey, let's write a song about that. And boy, did he.
Oh, yes, they call him the Streak. He likes to turn the other.
Released in 1974, The Streak is part novelty song, part fake news broadcast, and all chaos. It features a panicked reporter, a clueless husband, and the now immortal catchphrase, "Don't look, Ethel." Spoiler alert, Ethel always looks. Musically, it's slide whistles, silly voices, and punchlines flying faster than the naked guy in the chorus. Now, Stevens had already made a name for himself with a bunch of novelty hits, but this one streaked past them all, hitting number 1 and cementing its place in pop culture history. It somehow made public nudity family-friendly, or at least Saturday morning cartoon adjacent. Was it dumb? Yes. Was it brilliant? Also yes. It's the only chart-topping song where the plot hinges on a bare butt and a horrified wife.
They call him the Streak. Like to turn the other.
And if that's not peak 1970s energy, what is? Don't look, Ethel. Too late. Number 12, Disco Duck, Rick Dees and his cast of idiots, 1976. This is the one, the moment disco jumped the duck. In 1976, Memphis DJ Rick Dees created Disco Duck, a novelty song where a man speaks in a Donald Duck voice over a legitimately danceable disco beat, you got that. And somehow, I don't know how, it worked. It went to number 1, sold over 6 million copies, and became one of the most bizarre chart toppers of all time. The duck voice, the absurd premise, the funky bass line, it is so wrong, it's right. Fun fact, Dees was actually banned from playing his own song on the air due to conflict of interest policies, but that didn't stop it from becoming a full-on disco staple. It even made a brief surreal appearance in Saturday Night Fever, proving its weird reach. The lyrics tell the story of a guy who goes to a club and starts dancing like a duck, and everyone loves it. That's it. That's the story. It's as dumb as it sounds and as catchy as you fear. Number 13, Muskrat Love, Captain and Tennille, 1976. Some love songs are timeless. This one features squeaks, synths, and 2 rodents in romantic bliss. Timeless? I don't think so. Muskrat Love tells the oddly tender tale of Susie and Sam, a pair of love-struck muskrats paddling through moonlight, possibly headed for muskrat intimacy. Originally written by Willis Allen Ramsey and then covered by America, it was Captain and Tennille's 76 version that truly burned it into the nation's memory.
Bacon, chewing on cheese. Sam says to Susie.
With Toni Tennille delivering the lyrics like a Disney princess serenading wildlife, and Daryl Captain Dragon providing actual synthesized muskrat noises. It sounds like a love ballad scored by a Casio keyboard in a bait shop. Critics hated it. The White House literally banned it from being played at a state dinner. But the American public, us normal people, we bought the single anyway and sent it to the Billboard Top 10. Because in the 70s, if something was weird enough, we just leaned in. It's cheesy, it's earnest, and completely baffling. but somehow this love letter to swamp rodents became a hit, and a punchline that has survived decades.
Looks like muskrat love.
Was it sincere? Absolutely. Was it necessary? Debatable. But you'll never forget the sound of two muskrats doing it by moonlight in perfect harmony. Number 14, My Dingling, Chuck Berry, 1972. Yes, that Chuck Berry, rock and roll pioneer, guitar slinging icon, and the man behind one of the most juvenile, double entendre-packed novelty songs of the decade. My Ding-a-Ling was originally recorded by Dave Bartholomew in the 1950s, but Berry turned it into a live sing-along sensation in 1972, and it became, somehow, his only #1 hit in the US.
Down and take my ding-a-ling-a-ling, oh my.
The song is a cheeky ode to a childhood toy that's very clearly not a toy, and the audience knew it, laughing, clapping, and shouting the chorus like they were at a comedy club. The track was recorded live in the UK, which kind of added a goofy charm. Berry, who had already cemented his legacy with groundbreaking hits, delivered this tune like he was daring the world not to sing along. A lot of schools banned it, parents hated it, kids loved it. It was outrageous, silly, and completely irresistible, everything a 70s novelty hit aspired to be. Number 15, Playground in My Mind, Clint Holmes, 1972. If the 70s had a lullaby written during a fever dream, this would be it. Playground in My Mind by Clint Holmes sounds like something that would play on a wind-up music box, haunted by the ghost of recess past. Released in 1972, the song features Holmes singing sweet verses about a dreamy playground filled with children named Michael and Cindy who apparently never age, never leave, and never stop singing in high-pitched unison. Yeah, that's right. There's a child voice singing along, and it's both adorable and deeply unsettling. My Name is Michael, I Got a Nickel became an earworm that burrowed its way into the brains of millions, helping the song climb into the top 5.
My name is Michael, I got a nickel shiny.
It's innocent, it's odd, it is somehow catchy and confusing all at the same time. Was it a tribute to childhood? A warning against over-nostalgia? Because that's not good for my brand. Or was it just what happened when the studio had access to one xylophone and a sugar-high 8-year-old? Critics were all baffled, DJs were divided, but listeners weirdly hypnotized. Welcome to the weirdest playground you'll never forget, and maybe never leave. No helmet required. There you have it, 15 songs that prove the 70s weren't just the decade of rock gods and soul legends. They were also the home to streakers, talking rodents, and pina colada-fueled plot twists. Some were too sincere, others way too silly, and a few were just plain bizarre. But every one of them left a mark we're still humming decades later. So, which beat, which song is still holding you hostage? What song is actually good on my list? Which one is the worst? And did I forget an awesomely bad song from the 1970s? Well, please get down in the comment section and tell me your thoughts, because after all, we here at Do You Remember are nothing without you. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that thumbs up icon. Make sure you're subscribed to Do You Remember so you never miss one of our throwback videos. Until next time, I'm Nostalgic Nick with Do You Remember, and keep those guilty pleasures a-spinnin', y'all, because sometimes the worst songs make the best memories.